Hello, everyone. Welcome to our Women Together Connect. My name is Antoinette, and I am your host, and really just glad to be here together. I just was thinking as I was coming in today about how special this community is and how much it means not just for each one of us coming in, but how much it means for each of us that hold space for everyone else coming in. So just thank you all for being here today, that we support each other and we show up for one another, that when people say, I missed a few weeks and I'm back, that we keep showing up and someone has something to come back to. So I think that's just a wonderful little, little piece of gratitude that I had this morning, thinking about us and our group, and a welcome back from the holiday. Those of us who took a little time after the July 4th weekend, I hope you had a wonderful week. I know we are deep in summer here in the Northern Hemisphere. So would love to hear where everyone's coming from today. I see a few already in the chat. If you'd like to post in the chat just a little hello and where you are today. Sometimes we share a bit about the weather because it just reminds us that we're on one little planet. We're experiencing different weather patterns and different weather systems in our place, but that we're all really connected to this experience of being here on planet Earth together. And a warm welcome if you've never been with us before. It's a wonderful day to be together and share. Simba agrees, my little dog. So yeah, it's just let's see, where are we coming from? Beautiful day on Long Island, South Florida, very hot. 103 Fahrenheit in Boise, Amsterdam, hello, Sweden. A reminder that July 1st was Canada Day. Southbury, Connecticut, New York City, Baltimore, Maryland. Wonderful. Woodcliff Lake, New Jersey, Edmonton, steamy Ossining in Westchester, New York, Hamburg, Northern Germany, 6 p.m. in the evening, and sunny. Wonderful. And, really just finding the ways that we connect with each other across place, space, time, of course. So just connecting from wherever we are. Falls Church, Virginia as well. I'm also checking the YouTube. Chicago in the house as well. Great. So we're definitely coming in from all over and really holding our own place and space together. So I'd like to invite us to do as we land here before I introduce our guest today, who I'm very excited to share with you a little bit about her. Before I get there, I'd like to just invite us to land. And I find that for me, that's crucial. Just really allowing myself to reconnect with the body and the breath. Here at Women Together, we call these tiny practices. It's an experience at any point in the day. We can just land in our bodies, land in ourselves, and reconnect. So we can do this at any point throughout the day. It doesn't need to be a big retreat or a big event. We just take a moment. Just take a moment before we come into a new space. Take a moment to land, be in the body. So if you can get your feet on the ground, just connect with the earth. Feel a sense of uplift in the spine. And today I'd like to invite in the tide of an ocean. So just as the breath moves in and out, just feeling the sound of the tide, just focusing in on that. Just letting each breath as it moves in, as it moves out, like a soft ocean tide, just a soft, maybe it's not a full ocean, maybe it's just a sea or a lake, but you just kind of feel the movement in and out on each breath. And as the breath moves in and out on this sort of rolling tide, just noticing if there's anything else there, if there's anything that's rolling in on the tide, and maybe if it rolls in, You can let whatever you don't need for this moment roll right back out again. So letting it roll in on the awareness, just noticing what's there. And letting it roll out again. And each breath, just deepening, feeling a sense of relaxation, deeper connection in the body. Just noticing if the breath got deeper or if the breath maybe got shallower. Maybe you stop paying attention to it. So just noticing. What is my breath doing today? When you're ready, you can return your awareness to the screen. Just reconnect with the beautiful little Zoom boxes we have here, the beautiful people who are here with us today. And just send a warm welcome. So when you take these people and maybe take 3 or 4 people and just send a little warm welcome. This experience of I see you seeing me. I feel seen. I can feel you feeling me. Wonderful. Just a little connect. Beautiful. So that's our first little connect practice for today. And then we have a wonderful teacher, friend, guest who's joining us today, Julie Fischer McCarter. And we'll be exploring the topic of mindful creativity. So if you'd like to share anything in the chat of what comes up for you about what are you hoping for in this session about mindful creativity, you can type that in the chat now, and I'll share a little bit about Julie. Of course, at the end, we'll share some links about her work. But she's a psychotherapist and a fine art photographer who leads wellness workshops on topics related to mindfulness, creative expression through photography. And in her workshop offerings, she hopes to lead participants in creative practices that can be part of daily life, bringing each person back home to themselves. Julie, thank you so much for being here with us and sharing your practice and your gift with us. And for all the work that you do. I've absolutely loved exploring your photography and just the awareness that you bring to that practice as well. So really lovely to have you here and to invite us to connect into inspiration and creativity and kind of, we've been cultivating a lot of openness for the last number of weeks. So really glad to have you here with us. And just to share, we see some coming in the chat on I make collages, greeting cards, and jewelries, but haven't been creative in a while and hope to get back to it soon. And then this has been a theme in my life right now, always expanding my understanding of what it can be. So yeah, I think there are at least a few of us, maybe a number of us, curious about this particular topic and really about mindfulness and how we bring that to expressing our fullest selves. So thank you so much for being with us, and I'll turn it over to you for the next 20 minutes or so. Enjoy.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. I am really happy to be here, and I've been honored to be a participant, and so it's really just fun to be able to guide you all today in a topic that lights me up every day, which is creativity and mindfulness and sort of the places where that can take us. So I just want to start us off with a little slide that I think gives a good picture. Can everybody see that okay? Yes, okay.
Yes.
So Somebody in the chat mentioned they're hoping to get back to creativity sometime. Well, now is the time because we're going to do that today. So yay. So your creative practice. This slide is just showing you a container that for the most part can just essentially be yours and blank. The two words that I have put in the container are ones that I rely on in my creative practice. So that's what I'm going to lead you through today. So we all have these really infinite wells of creativity. And similar to what Antoinette was just sharing about a mindfulness practice, you've got 2 minutes, you've got a moment, that's enough. It's the same thing with the creative practice. It's really helpful to create this intentional container, so to speak, for creativity to come forward to the forefront. So yes, you have 5 minutes. You can start from a place of mindfulness, and then I'll guide you through what we'll do today to lead you to expressiveness. And any ingredients you want to add in your mix, somebody mentioned collage in the chat, right? Any materials you want to work with goes in the container. And the intention is to make space in your day, in the moment, for creativity to come forward. Now, down at the bottom of the slide, I have politely disinvite the inner critic. What does that mean? So that's sort of a shortcut for leaning into some self-compassion, some easefulness, because what tends to happen when we have the idea to be creative or to express is the inner critic kind of pops in and says, well, I don't really have a camera, or I don't really have the materials, or I'm not that creative. Everybody's inner critic is different. We all have an inner critic. So it's not a problem that the inner critic pops in. It's normal. But we can politely kind of disinvite it to the party, disinvite it from the container. So allowing it, noticing that it comes up while you're doing the creative activity, and they're just like, oh yeah, that's right, I didn't invite you to the party. Because it's not something that's going to fuel creativity. It's not inherently bad. Like I said, it's normal. So we just politely disinvite that. And to start us off with a little motivation, I just wanted to share this quote by Dorothea Lange. That's one of her beautiful images from the 30s. To me, beauty appears when one feels deeply, and art is an act of total attention. So that will just get us started here. So what I'd like to do is start with a mindfulness practice with our eyes closed. And then we're going to do a visual mindfulness practice with our eyes open. And then I'll guide you through a few experiential exercises, exercising creativity with a camera if you have one, a smartphone with a camera. If you don't have a camera or a smartphone with camera, you can just use your eyes and just imagine taking an image. That works perfectly well. And the exercises that we're doing today, you can revisit when you do have a camera if you want to express your creativity in that form. Okay. So I'll just invite you all to sit comfortably and close your eyes. And start to bring your awareness to your body, being supported by the chair where you're seated. You may want to move your body a little bit from front to back or side to side, just to usher in awareness of the body, to find a nice still point. Letting your awareness sink into your body. Feeling the support of the chair. Noticing maybe the sensation of gravity, and then feeling supported by this seat that you're on. And start to find just natural awareness of your breath. Letting your awareness rest with the feeling of being breathed. Then I invite you to turn your attention to any sounds that may be in the world around you, in the room where you are now. Inviting the experience of receiving sound with the sensation of hearing. Just noticing, receiving sound. And you can let that go. And I'd like to engage our imagination now. I'd like you to, with your eyes closed, imagine the room where you're seated in black and white, like an old movie, an old black and white movie. See if you can call to mind the details of where you're seated, your computer, your desk, your chair, whatever's in your room. Just see if you can imagine it for a moment in black and white. Calling to mind a few details in black and white. And when you're ready, very gently open your eyes and see if your eyes can receive color. The color that's in the room where you're seated now. In the same way your ears received sound, allow your eyes to receive color. Maybe just gently moving your head from left to right, scanning the room. Stepping back from our usual way of seeing. So not seeing objects as objects with names and categories, but it's just color. Just seeing everything and its color. And as you move your eyes around the room, see if there is a color that is particularly pleasing or interesting, or a color that your eyes are really comfortable resting with. Don't need any reason. Just really allowing your eyes to rest on a color that feels good to you in this moment. And as you sort of land on that color, just notice what's here inside your body as you notice that color. Might be a little something lighting up, a little something percolating. Just choosing to rest your eyes with that color and noticing what's here on the inside. So that in itself is a creative preference. Of all the colors in the room, your eyes, something within you, taking you to one color, resting with it, noticing how it feels. And that's one tool. You can let that go for now. And that's one tool for creative expression with photography, is working with color. We're going to come back to that for our expressive exercise. And now I'd like to move to a second expressive tool in photography, which is light. So with a new set of eyes, let go of color magically. And with a new set of eyes, let's take a look around the room where you are and notice light. Where is light coming from? How does it move from light to dark? Don't forget to look at the ceiling. Take in the light. It's everywhere. And now maybe notice some interesting shadows. Every object usually in your room here has a shadow, a little shadow. So just notice shadow, taking that in. And maybe now notice how the light reflects off of objects. Is there a reflection off of a picture window? It's interesting. Just really receiving light in the same way you receive sound, in the same way you received color. And see if your eyes want to land on a light pattern that speaks to you, to kind of like, or kind of interesting, or reminds you of something, or just let your eyes rest on that light pattern or reflection or shadow. And then notice what that's like on the inside. Just finding a little something in the room where you sit, or our session here, that might speak to you in some way. And again, that's your creative practice. So what I'd like to invite you to do, I see our time is not long. What I'd like to invite you to do is take your camera or just your eyes and work with expressing this preference for a light pattern or a color in a light pattern. You can move whatever color into the light pattern. So you're going to create an image using these two expressive elements, color and light, and you're going to play. Now, remember, the inner critic is not invited to the party. This is just your creative praxis of the prompt is really what's pleasing to you in this moment, what's interesting to you, what lights a little something up. It doesn't have to be great, doesn't have to be big, right? We're working with small, little lights up. So let's take a few minutes, like 3 minutes, to create a few images, okay? Playing with light and color and your beautiful preference. Wonderful. So we can come back together, and if you'd like to share in the chat what you noticed or what you experienced. I see Barbara mentioning that she's seeing colors light up that I've never noticed before. I have a colorful room. Exactly. It's amazing the things that we sit with every day when we break the experience up into visual components, such as color and light. And Judy just mentioned black and white gives more essence to shape, but you're mentioning another element of creative expression in photography is shape. And then Susan says, a lovely practice. Thank you. I love the concept of a tiny practice, tiny practices. I do these 100-day projects, wonderful each day, and it feels like at least I did something. I love the 100-day challenges. Some of the challenges on Instagram that offer photography prompts are wonderful too, because you have a prompt you can work with. And then with the formula that we sort of talked about today, we kind of create the container, and in the container, along with some mindfulness, some expressiveness, we add in a word or a prompt that we want to work with. Like today, we worked with color and light. So let's see. Anne says, lovely practice. Thank you. Oh, that was fun. Wonderful, Nina. Elizabeth says the colors in the backyard, kayaks, umbrellas, fun. Sounds like summer. I'm actually in Maine right now, so there's lots of kayaks and umbrellas happening. Shadow presents a very different view from my deck. Beautiful, super fun practice. Looking at the ceiling, seeing interesting shadows formed by the light. Absolutely. I mean, it's real beauty when we especially if we have some daylight coming in a window, right? In any moment. Thank you so much. You're so welcome. Golden brown, color and light, beautiful. Camera batteries are still drained from last weekend's festival. Instead, I worked with their photo gallery on my heart. Perfect. I love it. You made your practice your own. I was aware of different light patterns in my apartment, especially on the ceiling, the reflections, beautiful. Lovely exploration, beautiful color and light from, crystals. Wonderful. So feel free to, if you want to share any of the images you created today on Instagram or anything, feel free to tag me or message me so I can see what you've created, because I would love, my interest is piqued by the crystals near the window. Lovely exploration. Yes, take a look at the new NASA photos released today from Webb Telescope. Talk about color, shapes, and sizes. Absolutely. Yes. Yeah, that was phenomenal. I saw that this morning too. The NASA photos, like, mind-blowing. Beautiful. So Antoinette, should I pass things back to you? Are you there?
Yeah. Julie,
Okay.
thank you so much. This is absolutely wonderful. And I just deeply appreciate the sharing of this practice. And what also was coming up for me is the light and shadow in my own life, and just connecting to that. And also this little comment that you said that the light is everywhere. And I think sometimes I'm like waiting for the inspiration or the light, and to just begin to notice it in my own life, in my own space. Such a lovely practice. So thank you so much, Julie. And now in Zoom, we'll turn to each other and share with one another what came up in this practice. We'll have a few minutes with Julie at the end as well. But we can share what came up in this practice. Perhaps if you can share your photo in Zoom, you can do that. And yeah, the NASA photos as well that just came out, the finding the color in our lives, that's all around us, that really is everywhere, that happens, with the speed of light. So feel free to share with each other just what's coming up for you, and a reminder that as you share, you want to share your name, where you're coming from, start with that, and then what came up for you in this practice. And that we don't know what the other person had for breakfast this morning, let alone what kind of space they're in, and what this activity may have meant. So just really holding space for each other to dive in a little bit today. We'll have just under 20 minutes. So we'll take it to the 55, so about 18 minutes from now. So enjoy the time together, and we'll see you back here in about 18 minutes.